This is Line Break. I'm T.D. Walker. In this episode, we're looking at a few poems from Amy Lowell, who was born in Massachusetts in 1874. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, there was an upheaval of sorts in poetry, as there was in all literature, and in philosophy and in science. Before this time, there was a tendency in poetry to be quite expansive, for the language to be very florid, and for the words to be chosen and put into place to serve the meter, the forms, the rhymes, and so on. Shifts away from traditional worldviews in Europe and the United States, and elsewhere too, came out of scientific discoveries and events like the First World War. And so too, there was a shift away from what had been traditional in poetry. There was a profound shift away from form and meter and rhyme in poetry toward free verse. Rather than strict meters, think the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da of iambic pentameter, lines flowed with rhythms that fit the needs of the meaning and the tensions in the poems. Amy Lowell is most closely associated with the Imagist movement, which embraced free verse, of course, but more importantly, poets in this movement used images to express emotions rather than just abstract, florid, and sometimes excessive language. So with the idea of image above all else to invoke emotion in mind, here are a few poems by Amy Lowell. This is The Tree of Scarlet Berries, and this is from her book, Sword Blades and Poppy Seed. The rain gullies the garden paths and tinkles on the broadsides of grass blades. A tree at the end of my arm is hazy with mist. Even so, I can see that it has red berries, a scarlet fruit filmed over with moisture. It seems as though the rain, dripping from it, should be tinged with color. I desire the berries, but in the mist I only scratch my hand on the thorns. Probably, too, they are bitter. In reading this poem, you can see the images of the red berries, the grayness of the rain. There's symbolism there, too, of course, this reaching after what is desired but dangerous. The ending is so powerful because in reaching for them, she scratches herself, and after her injuries, she concludes that the berries are probably bitter. And bitter things in nature are often poisonous, aren't they? Here's another one from her book, Sword Blades and Poppy Seed. The Taxi. When I go away from you, the world beats dead like a slackened drum. I call out for you against the jutted stars and shout into the ridges of the wind. Streets coming fast, one after the other, wedge you away from me, and the lamps of the city prick my eyes so that I can no longer see your face. Why should I leave you to wound myself upon the sharp edges of the night? You can hear in this one, she says the world beats dead like a slackened drum, and you can hear the words that she uses that beat on our ears, too. Jutted, ridges, wedge. Here's another one that shows us her despair through sharp imagery. Opal by Amy Lowell. You are ice and fire. The touch of you burns my hands like snow. You are cold and flame. You are the crimson of amaryllis, the silver of moon-touched magnolias. When I am with you, my heart is a frozen pond, gleaming with agitated torches. I'll read one last one by Amy Lowell. This one is sonnet from A Dome of Many-Colored Glass. And as I said before, even though this one is a sonnet form, the language is plainer and more direct. It's more abstract too, but it's also powerful because we're grounded by the direct language. To a friend, I ask but one thing of you, only one, that always you will be my dream of you, that never shall I wake to find untrue all this that I have believed and rested on, forever vanished, like a vision gone out into the night. Alas, how few there are who strike in us a chord we knew existed, but so seldom heard its tone. We tremble at the half-forgotten sound. The world is full of rude awakenings, and heaven-born castles shattered to the ground. Yet still our human longing vainly clings to a belief in beauty through all wrongs. Oh, stay your hand, and leave my heart its songs. This has been Line Break. All poems read in this episode are in the public domain. To find links to more about Amy Lowell, as well as to her poems read on this episode, visit my website, tdwalker.net/linebreak.